good morning. Welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas.
And I'm Becky, store manager at the Modern Skein.
So, we probably have a few new followers on here, so welcome, and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you're a returning follower or a subscriber, welcome back. We're so glad that you stuck around and put up with some of our shenanigans, because you know there's going to be shenanigans.
Oh, yes.
So, grab your coffee. I've got my new Modern Skein mug.
And I've got the
old Modern Skein
classic.
mug. Classic version,
Yeah.
yes. We are out of those, and they don't make them. So, this is the new version. So... someone can get us started with a finished object.
And I'm wearing it. This is my finished test knit. I kept saying Stria, and I think I watched Andrea Mowry's podcast. I think it's Stria, like striations.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. But this is the Stria cardigan. It is a fun stripy cardigan.
Super cute.
Done in, the full thing is done in half fisherman's rib, so it's super squishy and delightful. This is done out of Red Stag Croft Fingering in Edinburgh Castle. Per pod is the purple. William of Orange is the little orangey stripes. Pine and Isle of Harris. And I love it.
It's so good.
This took a little while to knit, to be real honest in that regard,
But you finished by the deadline.
I did. I was down to the wire, but I finished it.
Yes.
And I honestly have already given thought to making another one without
Ooh.
stripes.
Ooh.
Just as like a really neutral, wear with everything kind of a sweater.
Yeah, because it's a nice, I'll say basic cardigan shape.
Yeah. It's worked raglan style, top down, and then you pick up for bands around the edges. I had my fill of tubular sewn bind-offs. It looks really nice now, so it was worth it.
Oh, yes.
But I was going a little crazy by the time I was halfway through.
A tubular bind-off or cast-on or anything is always worth it. It just might get a little frustrating.
Yeah.
In the midst of it.
Yes.
And don't mind me, I'm just trying to get to the end of a row on this project that I stopped last night, apparently in the middle of the row. So I have to get to the end. So continue to chat while I finish.
Yes. I didn't really make any modifications to mine. Well, I added length to my bottom ribbing just a little bit because I was concerned it was going to be cropped. It is kind of it's not really even that cropped at all.
No, I'd say it's normal.
It's pretty normal length. When I was knitting it, this stitch is very much kind of squished and a little bit more tight when you knit it, and then it relaxes really nicely. So I probably didn't need to do that, but I did it just to be a little more comfortable going forward. And then my sleeves are a little bit shorter than what it calls for because I wanted more of that bracelet length where I can have a watch on or a bracelet and not have a giant bulge underneath the sweater. But otherwise, this is 2 pattern. And I did make one stripe mistake, but I'm not going to point it out. And it's not easy to find, so I'm very content. This is very warm. I may not make it through the whole podcast with this on, but it's delightful.
Well, the nice thing is that while we are podcasting here, we are having a giant storm front, cold front blow through. So it will be cold enough soon.
Yes.
It's just not caught up yet.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy weather today, but it's supposed to all blow through by I think 11. So
yeah.
We should be good.
Definitely.
And we have power, knock on wood. I don't have power at my house right now.
I had power when I left hoping it stays that way.
Fingers crossed. You would think because we live closer into the city, you would think we would have power, but whatever. Okay, so I don't have a finished object. Wah, wah. I kind of feel like I had a finished object simply because I'm finished with clue 3 of Stephen's, mystery knit along. And so that kind of made me feel like I had a finished object because I'm finished with as much of it as I possibly can be. But yeah, I'm just realizing I don't have anything sitting in the other room or anything. I don't have a finished object. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think I had one time or two before. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so speaking of Stephen's mystery knit along, if you have somehow managed to get this far into the mystery knit along, into clue 3, and still have not seen a finished or a clue teaser, look away, shield your eyes, turn us off, something, because we're about to show you ours. So, once I get to it. Okay, speak now, forever hold your peace. It's coming out. There's the right side. And 3, 2, 1. Ta-da!
Ugh. Okay. I love it.
So, I have done one modification to mine. I omitted the baubles that are supposed to be here because I don't like baubles and I already had done enough. But that's the only thing I've changed with his pattern. I've done the brioche, which you can see here, very simple brioche. I've done the crisscross. Couple ladies in our store have done a couple little challenges to themselves with Stephen's project, which has been super fun to see. So like one of them was they were going to, in the first section, which they did the whole entire clue 1 this way, knitting backwards. And before you're like, what? So basically, since the whole first section was a lot of short rows, especially in the wedges, what that means is you don't turn your work at your wedge, you simply just knit backwards, and you're knitting from the left hand needle onto the right hand needle instead of off, you knit backwards.
Yep.
So they were practicing that, which is really handy if you're doing something with a ton of short rows, like for example the papillon shawl, especially when it's short bursts of 10 stitches. It comes in really handy if you do baubles, different things like that. There's lots of YouTube videos, you knitting, how to knit backwards, things like that you can look up, and that's basically what they did, and they did those first sections and the wedges with that. And then a lot of ladies are like, okay, if there's going to be a brioche section, I'm going to actually do it. I'm not going to skip into the alternative. I'm going to break down and do the brioche. And so I was like, is there something that I could do to kind of stretch my knitting mojo? And I remembered, and I've done this before, but it's been, I'm trying to think when I did it last. It's been almost 3 years. I test knit a brioche shawl for Lavanya Petrosella several years ago called Still Pretty. It was when Stranger Things came out, and it's based off of that TV show. And it's an all-over brioche with a brioche lace. And I think while she was doing it, or while in the middle of that test knit, I saw a video of someone doing 2-color brioche, which if you are familiar with brioche, you have to knit all the way across that row with color A. Stop, I'm getting notifications for our electric. All the way across with color A, then the same row all the way across with color B. Well, in this video, this lady was doing those 2 rows in a single pass. So you knit 2-color brioche, almost like color work, with 1 color in each hand, and go across. So I was like, I did that on that shawl. And then I, for whatever reason, didn't do it again and kind of forgot how exactly. So I was like, I need to watch the video and do that. So I did my brioche section, because it's not very big. I did that in single pass 2-color brioche. So that was my little stretch project. And then, of course, I omitted the baubles, and some people in the shop are like, why did you do that? You'll do single pass brioche, but you won't do baubles? I'm like, I don't like baubles. I've already got another project that I'm doing baubles, and I have to do the baubles because the baubles make it. I don't have to do the baubles on this. It did not affect stitch count. I'm just not doing it. So, how are you coming? Speaking of baubles.
Speaking of baubles, that's where I'm at. I am behind. I'm still in clue 2 because I had a couple test knits that I wanted to put my energy towards making a bunch of progress on, one of which I have back here.
The person that said they weren't going to do any more test knits did 2 more test knits.
Yes. Yes. This is true. This is very much true. But I've been trying to work more on those. So I got partway through my baubles and put this one down. But yeah,
It's so pretty.
and I'm in the middle of the bauble row. So I'll try and hold this up as best I can without ripping off my baubles because they're a pain. I love them, but they're a pain. So I have not modified anything aside from switching the technique I'm using to do the baubles. So I'm not using the written bauble instructions that Stephen West gives. I'm using a crochet or a half double crochet bauble, which I'm really liking. Gives me just a slightly smaller bauble. So I still get the bright pop in with the triangle section, but it's not quite as giant. And the ones, they're not even that giant. So
No, they're not, but I like that size for the bauble.
just a little pop of color.
It's not overwhelming.
So I'm really loving it. This is my first mystery knit along, or first Stephen West mystery knit along. But yeah.
It's been fun, that's for sure. So, yeah. That's it. Just waiting for Friday and the next clue to come out. By the way, if you're behind, you may feel more comfortable on a 60-inch cord once you get past the short row sections of clue 2. That's what I have switched to, and it does make it a lot nicer to work on rather than the 40-inch that was recommended. Just FYI, but also you got to realize I knit loose, and I went down to a size 3 needle, and it's still very large, so if you knit tight, yours is probably not going to be as big. Okay, then I also cast on, I think I had it cast on last podcast, or at least the ribbing started. Yes.
Yeah, I think you might have had like a stripe or 2 past the ribbing.
Okay, so I've worked on this off and on, not as much as I would have, simply because mystery knit along. But my Douglas Cardi has been separated for the fronts and backs, and I have one front. I think I literally have like 3 more rows, and then I put that on waste yarn. But this is the Douglas Cardi, coming along very nicely. I love the colors that it ended up going with. So this is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, and I'm using cast iron for the black. This is, like I said, Shelter, so worsted weight. So cast iron, faded quilt. Pumice, yes. And Stormcloud. Yay! So technically it should be 4 color stripes, and then this is the border, but I'm repeating this black as my 4th color, or I guess 5th color. I saw that. I can't take the credit for it. I saw that already on Ravelry and totally stole that idea. Yeah, so that's coming along really nicely now that I'm caught up with clue 3. I will be working on that more. Of course, side note, I may have cast on something yesterday. Sometimes you chat with customers and you've already pulled a pattern aside because you want to do it as a store sample, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I just knit this or just cast this on. This would be such a good store sample. And I'm like, dang it, I need to do it. So that's exactly what happened yesterday. I was like, I'm caught up with clue 3. It's almost like being finished. And so I cast on Driftlines by So Very Shannon, which is kind of a hybrid shawl cowl combo. And I am using the Biche and Bouche La Grosse. The pattern calls for worsted. You could absolutely use shelter if you wanted to. You could use Germantown. We just got all the new colors of Germantown, so we have all colors of Germantown available. Our rainbow collection.
There is a tower of Germantown over there.
And what is so irritating is every time I do an Instagram Live and I go over to the Germantown corner that we have in the shop, I lose the connection. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know what convergence is there cutting off all of the internet, but I need to post a picture of it. Anyway, moving on. So you could use Germantown, you could use shelter. I'm using Biche and Bouche La Grosse. Technically it is an Aran weight, but you can get gauge. I have gotten gauge shockingly. Not shockingly. I just didn't have to adjust my needle size. So I'm using the needle size that the pattern called for, but I'm using an Aran weight technically. You could also use, if you did not want a more rustic feeling, like a shelter, like Biche and Bouche La Grosse, you could use the Estate Aran by Red Stag Fiber as well. I need to get transferred to a longer cord, but this is the start of Driftlines. So yes, I cast this on yesterday afternoon, and then I didn't really knit that much on it last night, but last night I was trying to find a movie to watch. Josh was with his dad, helping him. I went through 3 movies before I found one that was good. First one was a premise that I would have liked, like space sci-fi stuff, and then it turned into be like killer alien zombies, and it just
Okay.
It kind of was like, I wanted there to be aliens, but not killer alien zombies. So I just was like,
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
then switched to another one, and it was like super boring. Like 20 minutes in, I'm like, we still don't know what's going on. So switched out of that, and then finally was like, just put on a good movie. Put on Stargate. It's a classic, and watch that. So yeah, Driftlines, So Very Shannon on Instagram. Shannon, is it Shannon Cook? That's what I want to say.
I think so.
veryshannon.com, and her Instagram is So Very Shannon, but I think her name's Shannon Cook. And this is the Biche and Bouche La Grosse in the colorway dark red. So, example, this is dark red. If you look on our website, this is the medium red. It's a bit brighter.
Yeah, on camera they almost look closer than I think they do in person.
Yes. So the dark red, you can see a little bit better back here. So the dark red is definitely darker, but it also has these heathery bits of orange in there, which really gives you a unique look, whereas the medium red is just red. It doesn't have that heathered effect like this does. I think you can kind of see the orangey bits coming through there. So I'm really loving it. This is going to be a really fun store sample especially coming up for the holidays. This pattern is super easy. Garter stitch with some slip stitches. This is a great pattern to try a more rustic wool without the commitment of a full-on sweater.
Yeah.
Or maybe I want to try Biche and Bouche, but I don't want to do a full sweater. I don't know what I want to do. Do something like this. Do the same thing with Germantown. Try Germantown if you've never tried it before. You will love them, most likely. They're great yarns. Try Shelter. I recommend cowls or hats to try a yarn that you haven't used before, or small like single skein, 2 skein shawls. To try a yarn that you haven't used before, you can get some experience wearing it, working with it, different things like that before you commit to a full sweater out of it, especially if you are looking for garments or a really big shawl or something that's going to be a lot of work, and then you end up deciding it wasn't the right yarn for it, or you just don't particularly care for that yarn, maybe next to skin, things like that. I personally love the more rustic wools next to my skin. They are not itchy. Typically what makes them itchy is the little bits of vegetable matter that's stuck in there, like little twigs and stuff. I think to date I have not ever found a twig in Biche and Bouche. I have found a few tiny little bits of twigs in Shelter, but it's real easy to pick it out.
And I feel like, excuse me, usually when you find those bits, like you're finding them as you're knitting.
Yeah, you can just
more so than as you're wearing the finished piece.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with something like a cowl or a hat maybe not so much, but a cowl, you can easily, make sure you wear it over top of something if you find it's maybe you're not used to it or it does bother you a little bit. But yeah, I definitely would recommend trying the more rustic wools because A, you don't have the chemical processes of superwash. B, it's a little bit more kind of, I'll say, back to nature with those products, and it's so nice to work with. Like if you drop your stitches, they just stay there.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Velcro to their neighbors.
Yes.
And very forgiving.
Yeah, and so you can just shove them back on the needle. Great for color work. And like it looks, so the nice thing about, they look really good already. So like this already looks like I've steamed it or blocked it. I haven't, but when I do, it will basically look the same. Whereas a lot of times with superwash yarns, they look a little scraggly, tension's a little off until you block it, steam it, and then it looks really good. It just has to do with the elasticity of the fibers and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, trying to think. That's really the only two things that I have worked on. I have my other projects, of course, that y'all know in my big hefty bin, which I have not been bringing to the store because the past 2 times I put it in my car. Well, Josh would say my driving has something to do with it, but the bins have tipped over and everything has fallen out. So I just got a little frustrated with it. It's fine. It's fine. So that just stays at home. And there may be a few tangled messes in there, but it's fine. It's fine. Totally fine. So what else are you working on? Can you hint at that?
Yes.
Yay. So it's not a super, super, super secret test knit.
No.
I mean, the designer's posted
I was
pictures.
going to say, she's posted a ton of pictures on it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm supposed to share modeled photos beforehand, but...
Be a little hard to model that.
Yep. It's
at this point, anyway.
Yeah. This is my halibut. Decided to cast it on just for the halibut. So it is a yoked sweater with a beautiful color work. Halibut.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
It's a fishy.
So I am nearing the end. I'm going to be able to see the little fishy face here very soon. And then split off for sleeves. I love it. I'm very excited for my strange fish sweater. It's going to be great.
And what yarn are we using?
So I've got Scout from Kelborn Woolens as my yarn, and I'm kind of obsessed with how it works with color work. It's delightful.
So Scout does not have that superwash treatment done to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, I do not consider Scout a rustic wool. It's very, very soft. It's very, there's no pick to it or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the superwash treatment. It's slightly heathered.
Yep.
And it's just so good.
The depth of color you get in the heather, especially I feel like in the darker colors and the darker shades, is amazing.
You can just really, that's kind
and
of
I feel like
through.
with this one, oh shoot, I forget what.
That's mulberry, right?
Yep, it's mulberry heather. Thank you. I was about to call it plum, and that's not plum.
No.
But this one I feel like is really subtle, but there's some of them that are just gorgeous heathers.
Like the autumn literally looks like all the colors of autumn in one skein, but then it reads as like this browny green from afar away. It's really pretty. And then oatmeal for your
my color work.
And then she was knitting on this yesterday, and I
we
was
have
like, "Oh look, you have a spooky little mummy face on the inside of your color work."
Yes. Yep.
But apparently I didn't say, "Oh, look how cute." It was like, "Hey, did you notice?" Like really serious.
And I got really scared that something was terribly wrong. I'm like, no, I'm not ready to frog.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah. I'm getting very close to being able to slit for sleeves and then power through some stockinette.
Yeah.
So, very satisfied with the floats as well on this one.
Yeah, the floats are looking great. And there's your little,
especially on the camera.
Your little mummy faces.
Yes.
They're so cute. Okay. So, speaking of Scout, we did get restocked in all the colors in sweater quantities. So
it's a very full shelf. I can attest.
Yes, if you come in store and you pull just the right skein, the entire shelf may be coming flying out at you. Just a fair warning. But we do have all of the colors, including we still have I believe it's 7 skeins of the mint colorway, which has been discontinued. We cannot get any more.
Yep.
So once the mint is gone, it is gone for good.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, when I'm looking at the entire palette on the wall, I understand why they're not having the mint anymore, because it doesn't quite fit with the palette, but it's such a pretty color. So if you want the mint, snag it. Hopefully by the time this goes up this weekend, it may or may not still be there. But like I said earlier, we also have all the new colors, all 14 new colors of Germantown, which is also by Kelborn Woolens, and it is a worsted weight. So Scout is a DK weight. Germantown is worsted weight. So that means I believe we're at 27 colors for Germantown, plus we have also all 5 of the unicorn collection that is available right now, which unicorn means when they're running the ends off the mills, you get 2 colorways that get plied together, so it's kind of a spin cycle-esque kind of a look, or a dyed-in-the-wool look, which is really cool. But there's only 5 colorways of that, and again, when those are gone, those are gone. What else? We also got restocked in Biche and Bouche, and we have some new colors that we had not gotten before in La Grosse because they were unavailable at the time, and there's still a few colors that we are out of stock already. But I'm going to go down and grab these, and we can go through the colors and show you guys the colors. These are great, too, for... That's very large. That's weird. Okay. These are also great for things like the single malt sweater that just got released by Max the Knitter, Maxim Sear. this is perfect for single malt sweater. In fact, I'm really, really wanting to cast on the single malt sweater in one of the colorways that Becky is grabbing. I guess I'll sit back down. I really want to cast on the single malt sweater in, oh my goodness, armful, in this colorway. Guys, camera's not showing this yarn justice, but it's like dark chocolate with golden flecks of heather, and it would just be stunning in the single malt sweater. Mm-hmm. And yes, I should knit the single malt sweater for Josh. However, if you are new, Josh is my husband and also the dyer of Red Stag yarn. But he likes the more luxury yarns, like cashmere and yak, and the very soft next to skin, and not a big fan of the more rustic. So I would totally knit single malt for me. But that's beside the point. So this is dark brown. Love this one. This is burgundy gray. It's like that Bordeaux kind of color. It's really pretty. Then we have medium violet. This one you can really see all the heathery goodness in this one, which is really pretty. Of course, I showed you my dark red. I don't know why I'm struggling. Now I have the hiccups. Haven't had enough coffee, now I have the hiccups. Dark red. Medium red. There is a difference. Gray beige. Light gray. Warm, cool. My Astrid sweater. Astrid? Yeah. Or Amelie sweater. Number 8. Or number 5, whatever that is. The striped one. 5?
5?
I feel like it's number 5.
I think it's 5.
The Amelie sweater. I used gray beige and dark gray for mine. The pattern originally calls for gray beige and very dark gray. But I believe we still have enough to do a couple more of these sweaters. So you can see the difference between dark gray and very dark gray. Very dark gray is basically like a charcoal black. And dark gray is just a charcoal gray. Then we have medium gray, which is real pretty. We have medium brown, which you can really see all of those yummy heathers.
Love that one.
Beige, and frankly, somebody needs to do something in 3 colors because that's just gorgeous.
Please.
So this is dark brown, medium brown, and beige. The new Andrea Mowry shawl. It's not interpretations, but it's something with an eye. Inclination.
That would be stunning.
This would be so pretty. So she did design it originally for Spin Cycle, but this would be gorgeous. Oh, you guys. So
I mean, I think that one, well, I guess these are 50 gram or 100 gram skeins?
These are
100 gram skeins. So theoretically, I think you may be able to.
I think 3 or 4 colors or 3 or 4 skeins is all you would need, I believe.
Yeah.
This is medium green, which is very bright, Kelly, gorgeous green. This would be super fun for like a Christmas sweater, like one color Christmas sweater.
Yep.
That you could then, if it's cold enough, wear for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah. Double Christmas, that holiday knitting.
Yes. Or if you just like the color green and it looks good on you, wear it all the time.
Yep.
This is light yellow. I really like this one because this looks good on almost everybody. It's that right buttery kind of yellow. It's not the acidy yellow that sometimes looks and washes people out. I mean, that looks good on you too. So,
He's good.
Medium blue, like a nice denim-y blue. A lot of the other, that's the only blue that we got in this batch. A lot of the other blues were already out of stock. But yeah, that is our Biche and Bouche La Grosse. We also restocked, I don't have it out here, but we restocked the mohair, the petite mohair from Biche and Bouche in all the colors that we could get. A few, again, were back ordered from the mill, but we did restock almost all of those. And trying to think what else came in. Oh, we got in pottery. Katrinkle's pottery dishes, which are perfect for putting next to your
Caracotta.
What did I say?
Katrinkles. So sorry.
Yeah, no, not Katrinkles. She does wood. This is clay. Caracotta. And they're a local company out of Austin. She's real sweet. And she does the most beautiful little like abalone shell and trays. She's going to go fetch some. And they're perfect to set in your craft room or by your nightstand if you knit, like in bed or just any of the things. So look at these. And they're rimmed with 22 karat gold. They're so pretty. So this is called the Sunset. So there's Desert, which is like peach and pink and orange. Then this is Sunset, which is like your pink and purpley kind of vibe. And then the Ocean, which is these like teals and blues. And those are the 3 colors that the items come in. And so this is her little mermaid dish, which is just perfect to put your little stitch markers in. The abalone, you can put scissors, you can put tape measure, you can put all the little extra doodads that you might need in. I also have a lady who's already grabbed one, and she's going to put her beads in for beading, loading up her beaders. So that would be really good as well. So that's come in. I know we've already sold out of a few of the colors in that.
Restocked cocoa knits.
Oh, yes, we did. We restocked cocoa knits. We're already out of some more of the cocoa knits that came in.
Yep.
Literally, what was that? Tuesday?
Yeah.
And it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we're out. So y'all are awesome. But we do have some of the other things restocked that we were out of. Like the caddies. Caddies that you can kind of build your own, put your own handle on there, or leave the handle off if you want just more of a tray. Those were really popular, so we have restocked both colors in those. We also have more of the stitch markers. We also have the Earth Tones triangle stitch markers, all the Earth Tone stoppers, the colorful stoppers, the neutral stoppers. Basically,
The jumbo stoppers.
the jumbo stoppers.
Stoppers
We have
galore.
almost every single Cocoa Knits products, excluding Maker's Boards, because we sold out of those already. Stitch Fixers, which we already sold out of. And there was one other thing. I think we might have just one pair of the snips left. So,
Yeah.
another order is going in. Don't worry. When we can get it, because actually all of those things are out of stock with Cocoa Knits, I believe. So, just be patient with us. We also got restocked on some of our books, and I finally got shipping notification for a couple pre-order books. So fingers crossed those are coming in.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow or Friday, the new Making magazine is released. Can't remember if it's Thursday or Friday, but it's this week. So if you pre-ordered Making magazine, those will be ready for pickup on that day. And guys, it's almost November. That's kind of scary.
Yep.
So start thinking about your Christmas lists now because of two things. One, supply chain issues. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in some of my orders before Christmas, some of the things we have outstanding. So if it's in the store or online, you might want to snag it now if you're looking for gifts. And we are kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of your gifts, even for your non-crafter people, because we have candles, we have cute little notions pouches and backpacks that can be used for crafty tote bag loving people in general.
Yes.
And we have a couple learn to knit kits and learn to knit books and learn to crochet books if you want to gift those to non-crafty people, or maybe crafty people that don't do yarn crafts yet. Like I said, we have the soaps, we have the leather cuffs, we have these are not technically supposed to be knitting notions trays. These are supposed to be jewelry trays. So buy them for your jewelry loving friends, gift those as gifts. Like I said, all the different candles we have. There's a lot of options. Oh, we have the Friends and Food books. So, those make a great little gift for foodie loving friends. Yeah, we just have lots of things that we'd love to be your gift stop for your gifts for your crafting circle and your non-crafting circle.
Yeah.
Email went out yesterday as well. If you're on our newsletter list, hopefully you are. You can go to our website and sign up. If you are not, that is where our big announcements happen first typically. And so newsletter announcements, or not newsletter, not attendees, that's the wrong word. Recipients, thank you. We're the first to find out that we will actually be opening on Mondays starting November 1st. So if you're local or if you're not local, you can call, text, email, etc., and someone will be here, me, to respond to you. So we will be open same hours, 10 to 5 on Mondays. Come by, say hi, sit and knit with us, get your shopping done. Kind of doing this, it'll be for sure through the end of the year to get any extra holiday shopping in that you might need. And we'll go from there. Thursday night is still going on for sit and stitch or just late night shopping because we're open till 8. And we also did put out the announcement of our Thanksgiving holiday hours, Christmas hours, New Year's hours, all that fun stuff in the newsletter, and that will go on the website later today as well. And I think that's about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a follow here, subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you're not already following us on Instagram, I would do that. We accidentally went viral.
Yeah.
So, I read up all sorts of things about what to do for small business and advertising and social media and all that stuff. And because I've hit the age where I'm no longer cool on social media, so I have to read about it on blogs. And so you got to do reels. You got to do the, stupid little videos and everything. Do the little dances and, all that fun stuff. And so I did one. And as of this morning, it's sitting at 860,000 follower or people accounts have viewed it. Technically, according to Instagram, that's viral. Once it hits 1 million, it's officially viral. So that was fun. My phone still blows up, which is kind of crazy. And she gets messages too. So it's just like, oh my gosh. So we've had a jump in our Instagram followership for sure, which has been super fun. And it kind of makes it fun to keep thinking of, what video can we do next? Mm-hmm. So if you haven't followed us on Instagram, do so. We do some corny videos, that's for sure. But we also post about new kits in store, or if we're running low on a kit, or a lot of times in our stories, you'll see customers' finished objects. You might see your own. If you post and share and tag us, you'll see your project shared as well. If there's any last minute change to, a event or anything, it always goes on there first. New shipments that arrive as well, you get to see that first. And we do our Instagram lives on Tuesdays and Fridays where we highlight patterns that are popular on Ravelry or maybe new releases, and then yarns or kits to go with those patterns. Sometimes it's new books that have come out and yarns to go with the patterns in those books, things like that. So hopefully you'll join us over there as well. And and if you're local, come on by and say hi. We'd love to see you.
Yep.
We're here.
It's going to be a drizzly day, but
it is. We have coffee. We have lots of coffee. We actually
And tea.
And
actually.
tea. I found a whole nother box of tea in the back when we cleaned out. So we have tea, we have coffee, we have a mini fridge with snacks, and I have a whole cupboard full of snacks. So we're good.
We're good.
Come hang out with us and eat snacks and drink tea. Be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys. Bye.